reflect upon it and see what's going on. But we are into Champion Select for the first map, which is going to be Blood Covenant again. And it's going to be Doomslayer, Sorlag, Anarchy on the side of Pokel1nK, and then Doomslayer obviously and Nyx here so far for etjx. Now etjx favoured the Ranger, but going to be swapping out the Ranger for the Sorlag this time, and a Slash coming out from Pokel1nK. Now, we said before, Slash might be an interesting one to see today, considering her recent change that she can now use the Plasma Trail in any direction, which is going to be good for her, considering helping that already insane mobility, especially if you have the execution to pull all of it off. That's the one thing about Slash I find, is that she's absolutely not a beginner character. She's not a beginner-friendly character. I don't mean that obviously as like a detriment to the character itself. It's just that to play her at the highest level requires a lot of execution. Similar to almost like a Ranger. You know, to play Ranger at the highest level of Quake Champions requires getting timing down on telefrags and dire orb patterns and stuff like that. Stuff that theoretically any player could do, but not any player is capable of actually pulling off. Which I think in these kind of duels, when you see a really good Slash, it's quite a treat to the eyes, really, as to watch a good Slash, because not anyone is able to actually play this character.
I think Slash just sums up good Quake movement really well, because she's really fast. She can make just insanely nutty jumps. Overall, is not the tankiest champion in the game, but definitely isn't the squishiest. I think she's kind of champion that rewards skill at the game, right? Like, she has a lot to the table, but she's hard to use, and that is, I think, a nice balance. Like, she's definitely not sort of overpowering as such. She definitely isn't a be-all, end-all answer for a lot of situations, but she has a lot of reward if you have the execution to use her well.
Well, here we go. We're jumping straight in. Pokel1nK versus etjx. Losers bracket action. Loser of this will be going home and out of this tournament for good. And the winner will be that one step closer to getting a run back of sorts. I think it depends on the winner, really, to find out who gets that run back.
Well, obviously that's what we're looking to see, but only time will tell as we start off with Nyx versus Slash to get things going. It's going to be Sorlag on the side of both of them, which is going to be really, I suppose, not too surprising. Sorlag was incredibly powerful before and still seems to be very much capable of doing good things now. Obviously still seeing, oh wow, chasing down with Slash again. It is Slash, so no way to really mitigate that damage. etjx just saw an opportunity to take a frag, and he seized it.
Oh, and he got another good spawn
as well. Yeah, he's going to have no weapons to fight. He's going to have a nail gun maybe, but that's about it.
Sometimes,
obviously not to chase though.
Well, sometimes when a player spawns near heavy, I think that some of their call to action is actually not to collect a heavy, because they sort of predict the opponent is likely to head them off in that direction. It's a likely spawn, and it's a likely play.
Machine gun, he's not really good to do much with it.
Yeah, you're collecting the heavy at the expense of pretty much the means to defend yourself when you inevitably get ambushed, which is a very common play that people make at this level.
Right, that's going to be a good start. Jay getting hold of the armor as always.
Ooh,
big direct.
It did actually sort of knock him back up to the ledge though, so silver linings and all that.
Wasn't put in too bad of a situation. Oh, ever so slightly missed.
Yeah, just slightly off.
To be fair, like on hit or like miss, it didn't look like etjx was wanting to really chase that down anyway. But trading out some railgun damage here, really can't afford to hang around. Need to make sure you get that armor to just sponge as much of that rail damage as you can.
That's the thing in the background. Actually, hear those rockets going off. You know, you can hear there's rocket jumps taking place. The question is, in what direction?
Someone like Sorlag obviously down there is going to need to take some shortcuts to safely get around, but obviously use some health in the process. He's waiting for the jump pad, but doesn't give it to him. Doesn't look like it. etjx looks quite willing to just disengage at every opportunity, it seems.
Yeah, he's way more content to collect that heavy and then sort of keep this distance game for now.
It is working out for him, as long as you've got that champion lead, you can play for the clock, but obviously not the tankiest champion in the game is Nyx, so you have to make sure that you are playing perfect, but gets caught out immediately and will probably die here. No, unfortunately he commits suicide thanks to the wall, but regardless would have died to that later anyway.
I feel like that's a clear-cut example of what happens when... Oh, that's a good spawn! Oh, wait a second!
Punched out of here. Good stuff from etjx.
We consistently today...
kill we've seen?
I believe it was the first direct kill caused by Berserk. He was using the Berserk earlier against Kataration consistently to try and almost like a last-ditch effort to survive. Right there is pretty much, I think, why he has been consistently going to it when he thinks he's on the back foot. Now he's got Pokel1nK between a rock and a hard place. He's trying to escape, but
Wow, just jumps on his head. Kind of catches him at a funny angle too. I don't really think he was quite ready to go for that little snap. Saved a bit of damage.
Already looking a lot more tidy than we saw beforehand. Is his set versus Guitaration really was probably the most one-sided we've seen today. But I think part of that could have just been, you know, Guitaration was just a lot more prepared, and there could have been elements of nerves obviously playing on stream, and this isn't a region that we get to stream too often in the world of Quake Champions. So there could have been multiple factors to it. But it looks like already ETJ looking to keep himself together.
It's a much more solid display than we saw earlier on. I mean, there's no getting around the fact that when he fought Guitaration, and oh, yeah, that's a guaranteed Ghost Walk being forced, otherwise he would have died there for free. Oh no!
Tries to go through, but no way he's going to survive. Ghost Walk, unfortunately, kind of reappears a bit too close. Pokel1nK smells blood and just dedicates to the kill. He will take it.
Oh wow!
Berserk.
Here he comes!
He's very healthy. That Berserk mode was popped way too early. Had way too much health and armor to sponge to actually die to those punches.
That would have taken at least 3 punches. And while your opponent is consistently peppering you down with Lightning Gun, I mean, I don't even know if that's a fight you can statistically win, let alone factoring in any mistakes whatsoever.
Speaking of which, though, Pokel1nK got him again early on, and that was just going to be a Lightning Gun 1v1, and that very swift round. Pokel1nK looking super strong.
I wonder if this means that we see Sorlag first.
Probably.
The second we saw the Sorlag there, it was pretty much destruction.
Round begins in 3, 2.
Moments away from finding out. Is it Sorlag first now? He has. He's gone straight in for it. I think he had kind of caught sight of how quick those frags went in his favor the second he had Sorlag on board.
Or even though there is that delay between you shooting acid and being able to fire, clearly it still does a lot of damage. The acid damage over time is weakened, sure, but it still does as much as it did on impact as always. And if you're just getting a lot of those stacked on top and then you start peppering with Lightning Gun, I mean, that's still an absolute ton of damage.
It's not even like he's having a particularly light champion lineup to face off against, because he's got the Sorlag, he's got the Doomsayer. That's actually quite a lot of HP. Now forcing those abilities actually is likely to be way better off for etjx, and that's pretty much why if they trade ability for ability at that range, all that's really going to happen is Pokel1nK just has a bigger hitbox. He's going to be so much easier to hit with that LG.
Still though, that first frag losing Sorlag, which really was kind of that one-man army last round, is going to be a big difference. ETJ. Oh, ever so slightly missed, kind of heard that one go by.
Quite like the slight patience to maybe sort of catch him coming through the whole way, and he did manage to do it, but...
It's a bad position to be caught in, but again, ETJ just, again, not wanting to commit. The problem is, last time he was playing this big runaway defensive game, he actually lost Nyx quite easily because of it.
The shadows hide me.
He kind of just reappeared at a bad time, and the exact same thing happened back to back. I'm able to get away, and he, again, will die. It makes you wonder why, if ETJ is almost being a little bit too careful here. Like, sometimes if you have the kill, you kind of have to take it. Because if you continue to leave it on the table, they will just kill you eventually.
Well, eventually they'll just restack. If you don't seize the kill when it's guaranteed, you're pretty much giving it up. If you're giving them the chance to get health, to get armor, to get ammo, pretty much that exchange you had is meaningless. Doomslayer's taking a lot of damage now. Tries to shoot the rockets. He's still got injection. Pops it now. And there we go. Relatively easy pickup there down to Sorlag. If he gets a good spawn, they'll have to watch out for the acid spit, but that's it.
ETJ had the opportunity to kill this Anakin before, but again, he opted to be careful and sort of back off instead. And now this Anarchy is doing a one-man comeback on his entire team. Oh dear, on the acid completely missed as well. That is a bad situation to be in.
I feel like Pokel1nK just kept his distance for that exact reason. There's no... If he goes too close and he gets melted down, it's not going to be fantastic for him, and he definitely knows that. And now, the win really was not that he got the frag there, but now he's been able to force away the acid spit. It's going to be gone for a long time.
Mangy health is up though, it's giving ETJ some time to stack up again. Hammer also. He's over there. He's just trying to bait. ETJ has no interest in trying to fight at the moment. Oh, good shot. Oh, misses the follow-up though. Unfortunately, a consistent thing we're seeing today. A big lightning damage, and he's just jumped down, nowhere to go. Injected his pop, but still he's hot on the case, but no, won't be able to do it at all. Pokel1nK's going to take another round off of it. And again, all because the Anarchy was left alive that one time.
I think some of the rail attempts we're seeing are highly brave attempts as well, because right there with Pokel1nK, when he went in for that rail at the last minute, if that rail didn't connect, he could have potentially tried to challenge it with an LG to sort of continue to catch him off guard, in essence. But he dedicated for the rail because he knew that if he landed it, it would be a one-hit kill, would be guaranteed win. However, if he missed that rail in any degree, during the downtime, like he would have been killed there, and the round would have gone against him. So I feel like it's nice to see that players are still sticking to their decisions and it's working out for them. They're still being confident this late into the tournament when there's this much on the line too.
Oh, ETJ just jumped down and took that fight immediately, and no Ghost Walk at all. Actually, if ETJ didn't have a Ghost Walk, why do you think he did that?
I wonder if he tried to use it aggressively. Like, I've seen it consistently. And wait a minute.
There we go. That's a much better use of Berserk. Realizing that he's low first.
He pretty much just caught him off guard there. Like, he'd already taken a punch by the time he'd seen him.
It's been an LG though for Pokel1nK.
Yeah, that Mega's not up for another 20 seconds.
Going through, you see a fight for this heavy armor all the time, and it definitely doesn't go perfectly often. Long-range, ambitious rocket attempt, but
He hasn't really got a compromise until he gets a railgun. Oh no! There's a little bit of an extra double jump, and it makes him waste a bunch of time.
able to salvage it somewhat, but he is now below. You see Pokel1nK seems to be trying to hunt him down. He's up there. Doesn't quite connect. Has to be careful now. Lost a lot of armor on that rocket. He's going in for the kill. He's chasing it down and a suicide, but it will trade out the frag. 1 for 1. So we're gonna wonder if that was Sorlag or Slash initially. I wasn't quite sure where that noise came from.
That's definitely Slash. I can assure you that was Slash.
Still though, being able to pick up that heavy
Now
armor,
that's
yes, get both weapons too.
The bounty. Will he be able to spend it? Looks like he's going to be able to do it. Yes, does manage to seal it, and that's a map. That is, I think, going fresh off the spawn with Slash right there and getting all those weapons. I know ultimately actually all we need was an LG, but that's a nice little turn of events. He just caught him off the jump pad. I feel like the first round didn't go very well, but the rest of those rounds, it kind of goes back to what we've seen etjx consistently do, which is just slightly strained positioning at times, being in situations where he'll have an ability will be down and he'll go in anyway. And I think that kind of goes back to the whole not really having a plan B, not having like an escape route planned either. Essentially a backup for if the fight that you're going to dedicate to doesn't go your way. And it's a very all or nothing way of approaching a fight. Yes, it's worked, but today in particular, we've seen it not work way more times. That ratio is just not in his favor right now.
Well, a big thing about these 1v1s is the acid spits haven't quite been getting the same mileage that we're used to seeing. And I'm not saying that because of the damage over time nerf. I'm saying that because they're just not really being as accurate with the acid spits as we normally see. You know, usually a huge part of that damage comes out to just that point blank, I'm just going to spray the acid as close as it gets. So I'm not going to miss, or if it's at a slight range, that's almost prediction. So as long as a few of the blobs connect, that's they by themselves doing a lot of damage on impact, and then you're adding your gun damage on top of that. But in that last fight, not a single blob of acid connected, but he still hung around to fight. But the problem is, you can't outrun a Slash because he still had his plasma trail, and it's a Sorlag. You know, she can try and bunny hop all she wants, but she's not going to run away from a Slash at all.
So the next map is going to be Blood Run. Now, I would be somewhat concerned here because etjx, I believe it's etjx, very odd positioning on this map previously. I believe it was etjx where we saw multiple situations near the Mega Health with Nyx, where he would essentially reappear where his opponent had way more health than he did, yet he still tried to fight it.
It makes you wonder if that was almost frustration, though.
Potentially. However, seeing certain plays like we did see from ETJ earlier does make me a little bit concerned going into this map because of a couple of very similar moments that we saw on Blood Run. So I kind of feel like, you know, if there's one moment you kind of need to almost wake up in a sense and really start to play your best, this is the only time to do it. But is this going to be enough?
Hang on a minute, though. So Pokel1nK going in for Scale Bearer as well as Sorlag and Slash. And as I was going to say, I almost would assume to see ETJ go for is going to be Ranger. And we know Ranger is he has stood the test of time on Blood Run. You know, he seems to be a consistent pick here for multiple reasons. Good mobility options, nice safety on a map that otherwise is quite risky. And generally something we saw ETJ play earlier on. So not too surprising to see it there. But Scale Bearer, we saw do amazing things on this map.
He's been good today on this map.
He has, indeed. But Scale Bearer and Sorlag on the same team. And also Slash. This is a strangely mobile but heavy hitting team. You know, I know it's obviously they don't have quite the same universal mobility. Like obviously Scale Bearer's ability to get the heavy armor on this is somewhat limited, but has good control over the sort of the Mega Health sort of corridor. A lot of corridors on this map generally for him to ball rush through. But still, I quite like the attempt, and we've seen quite a lot of Scale Bearers today, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this one works out.
Saw quite a humorous little flip there in the warm-up, but I feel like we've seen good things from Scalebearer, and I'm hoping that we can sort of continue that streak. Just from a guy that just likes, you know, lesser used champions or lesser used characters in games. It's always nice to see that in a game like this too, where players, they go with what they believe is the best approach. And to see Scalebearer twice consistently, post-patch, maybe this might become more of a... It might become more of a thing that we see more consistently because of his ability to get a really good start. And he's found it already.
So speaking of which...
3 health though.
That 3 HP.
Oh!
He chases him. He knew exactly where he was going to be going. And is going to take that first frag with ease. Bit of Scalebearer, so he's taking a little while to top himself back up again. Thanks to that recent armor upgrade as well, so he's going to be getting a little more armor than usual.
There's the Berserk, but against a Scalebearer. I wonder if it's going to work. Yeah, just using it to try and escape there. Funny enough, actually, one punch would have done it, but I just don't think ETJ wanted to risk getting hit by a rocket or 2.
You have to be careful, obviously. We've seen him already say multiple times going for Berserk and basically just miss a bunch of punches and die for it. Definitely don't be making that same mistake again if you can help it.
But I feel like with Berserk being down, at the very least, Scalebearer is going to have that sort of edge, at least point blank. Whether they're likely to be point blank is another story. They've both got an LG now, so...
Mega Health is here. Is he going to wait for it and fight? But no, just pick it up anyway. Straight out for the heavy armor, which has now gone to ETJ. Oh, I like that, using the speed boost to jump over clean, and there's the fight immediately taken and seized. Pokel1nK just going to win that 1v1 again with lots of health and armor to spare.
That's something that you don't see every day, but it's been possible for a while, you know, where you essentially cancel the bull rush. For a split second, you pretty much maintain that speed. So if you're maintaining that speed, it does allow Scalebearer to take jumps he otherwise wouldn't be able to make, and that was just a display of being out-LG'd. Pokel1nK takes that first round, and, well, Scalebearer first, we've seen that a lot today, and we're continuing to see it. Looks like a nice approach, looks like a decent tactic. You know, one of many good starts in this map, for sure.
Also goes to show just how dangerous you can be in 1v1 with the LGs if you just have that raw amount of health to just survive with the whole time. Taking a lot of damage from below, but a couple of health packs to get himself back up to full health immediately.
But with a native 150 health, he could really take as much damage as he wanted to get that heavy, with the 2 healths being right there. In essence, it's not really damage he's taken, because it's so quick for him to undo that with the 2 healths that are right next to him. That's a great start, and he'll happily take it.
Does have an LG now too. Or he just walks into a rocket at just the wrong time.
He's not ready. Oh, completely ambushed, and there's no Ghost Walk for at least 12 seconds. Just, yeah, he mentions no sound. I'm not sure if he couldn't hear it or not, but it definitely looked like it. From the teleporter as well, goes in for Berserk, and the Berserk doesn't work either. May have been like a little bit of a spur-of-the-moment Berserk. Definitely probably wasn't the right option in that point in time.
The problem is with Berserk, right, is that it's not going to burst you down immediately. Like, the punches do a nice amount, but it's not like, ooh, nice die roll kill. Now, the punches don't do a massive amount. They do a decent amount of damage, but not a huge amount. So against someone like Scalebearer that's going to be really tanky in health and armor, it's going to take you a while to get them back down from Berserk punches. Obviously, you're just going to be shot the whole time by LG or anything. He could have even bull rush point blank for that sort of quick burst of damage if he wanted to. Regardless, won't be necessary, as he's going to take another round, and Pokel1nK now finds himself on match point already, looking to sweep through.
I think if you're in the loser's bracket and you take that, oh, he misses the rail too, that's unfortunate.
You're still up there, getting lower and lower. Die roll for safety.
I like that little play though, to try and check at least one of the rails before you teleport, just to get a little bit of damage. Elements of optimization, I think. Out in the open, but more LG. I just feel like Pokel1nK has been point blank this entire round. But he's just looking uncontested.
He's point blank with a very large champion, but ETJ seems to be having a lot of difficulty hitting him, unfortunately. He's not having a great time at the moment.
And oh, that's a lot of damage to take for a Mega Health.
Well, basically, all of the extra health he got from Mega is now gone.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Here he comes! He answers back with a punch.
Oh, that was such an interesting exchange. So you've got Scalebearer, the Galactic Warlord, running full speed after a Doomslayer who is currently berserking just to get enough speed to keep running away.
Well, the thing is, Doomslayer actually has a very individual answer, because naturally his double jump allows him to completely dodge the charge, and anywhere on screen he can double jump over the bull rush if you time it correctly, which obviously most champions don't have that sort of answer anywhere on screen option besides a rocket jump or something like that. But think he was stuck in Berserk. He was way more focused on trying to go through the teleport and answer back with damage of his own. Unfortunately now, he's in big trouble. Here comes the bull rush. Is he going to get caught? No, it misses.
Too much space to juke, but had too much health anyway. The damage mitigation while he's charging through, proving too strong. And now etj finds himself with just Nyx, only alone left against this entire lineup. This Scale Bearer has just been unstoppable by himself at the moment.
Oh, oops. That's not the great. That is the floor.
Lesson learned. Heavy armor getting picked up.
And he's going to know how close Nyx is too. Just wait sufficient time to maybe cover that space. But when you're on the back foot like this, you've got to take there's no options. A 3 straight round comeback, and you have to make a 3 champion comeback. Against a champion you've had a very hard time with the whole time. This might be guaranteed. Goes in for the Ghost Walk. Does he use it aggressively? No, he does not. I think he's made that mistake one too many times. Doesn't want to do it again.
I don't think he can really afford to be honest, to use it in that way.
Oh no, the rail! That's an unfortunate miss.
So the heavy armor is going to help etj a lot, but still, not a lot of health left at all.
Even with that heavy armor, Scale Bearer is leaps and bounds more healthy.
Well, he does have the bull rush back too as well. The Ghost Walk can be down for a little while, but the wall jump can do a good job of avoiding the bull rush itself as well, but you kind of need a wall to do it. If you're near a wall, then it means you're probably in a corridor.
I feel like what we just saw there is kind of why I feel Pokel1nK has an edge. Oh, is this the final play? Oh, the rail.
Ghost Walk's going to be any second now. Is he going to use it? No, not yet. He's holding on to it. Not losing his cool. Oh, he uses it now, though.
They meet head on. Oh, and he has way more stack. They both have the same idea. And I mean, if Nyx is trapped between a wall and Scale Bearer and she hasn't got the stack and he's got an LG at probably as point blank as you can possibly be, I don't really know what etj could have done there. The second he commits to that heavy armor, I'm fairly certain that was pretty much just game over.
It was one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Like, going for the heavy armor might have been the predictable thing and ultimately did lose in the game, but when you're that far behind in stack, you're that far behind in health and armor, you need to keep yourself topped up as much as possible, and heavy armor is a great way of doing that. Problem is if you kind of, you know, forfeit the heavy armor to someone big like Scale Bearer, someone who is already really hard to take down just to sheer numbers of health and armor, now becomes all that much more difficult. So, but that kind of is the situation you put yourself in, right? When you get that far behind, I mean, it's supposed to be stacked against you. That is your punishment for being behind in the game. And Pokel1nK looking really strong, showing diversity in champion picks, showing a lot of comfort across multiple maps, and that's why he's going to be moving on in this lower side of the bracket.
True. I think, I know, final thought of that series was that Pokel1nK was probably just a bit more prepared as well. And I mean just prepared on the map itself. You would consistently see Pokel1nK take etj by surprise off teleporters or just, you know, just out in the map normally where he would set some kind of ambush or wait for him to go near Mega and shoot through the Great, which we would consistently see. But then the second we saw Pokel1nK on the flip side, where he was the one near Mega, he would sort of take those pop shots at the top to deal with the Great just in case etj was there, of which he was. We didn't really see etj do those things back to Pokel1nK. I think it was just the fact that Pokel1nK just had a little bit more preparation of where the enemy is likely to be on the map, and I think he just reaped the rewards for that, and he's moving on in the lower bracket. So that's one match done. We have a few more to go before we get into our essentially losers finals while we get our next series underway. For another time, we're going to go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right